Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is your host, Christopher Corey from Shadow Techland. So, wanted to go over browser history and security and staying anonymous online in today's world. So, basically, the reason why VPNs are a really good idea is, well, basically how they interact with the internet. So, as an example, looking at this example here from what I use as a service is PIA, private internet access for the internet, and basically the way that it works in layman's terms for basic networking is you get on your device, whether it's PC, tablet, phone, anything in between, console, whatever the case may be. It's going to be your device with your public IP address out to the, if you're in an apartment, so out to the node, or if you're in a house, out to the node, and then from there it goes to the street, and then out to the internet provider, and then wherever it is that you are going to. So if you're looking at Facebook, whatever the case may be, or if you're doing something more sensitive, like let's say banking or anything online that has your identity tied to it, that information is now readable to the internet. And if there is unfortunately someone in your network or someone within that service looking, they can see your data, and that can cause a lot of bad things to happen that you just don't want to have to deal with. By getting a VPN, basically what you're doing is you're putting in a layman's terms, a kind of an invisible wall up. So what happens is, from the previous example, it goes from your device out to the street. Well, it goes from your device out to the street, out to wherever it's going, and then it ends up hitting the VPN network that you're on, which will state a different location than your real IP address, and then that goes out to the internet to wherever it is that you're going, and that traffic is actually encrypted and not readable very easily. I mean, you would have to go through and you would have to hack all sorts of servers and things of that nature, and it just makes everything a lot more secure. Now, you may ask why you should be using it. Well, based off of the previous examples, it keeps unwanted connections off of your network. It makes your network secure, and it makes browsing history and browsing just in general um, anonymous. That way, people aren't able to read what it is you're doing. They're not able to log it. They're not able to grab your social security number, your credit cards, or browsing history, or your shopping history, or any of that jazz. It basically keeps everything secure and private. Well, you may ask how it does that and what the services provide. Now, I've gone through and I've used 3 or 4 different VPN services, tried out the 30 days. You will have to, obviously, your mileage will vary. This is not a paid advertisement. I'm just going to put that out there right now. This is just a service that I use, and I use personally in my own labbing and my own habits and things of that nature. Not a paid advertisement whatsoever. It's just what I use and what I find works best for me. Now, whatever VPN service that you end up going with, you need to make sure a couple of things. First of all, you don't want to have logging. And what that means is the VPN service that you go through, they don't log your traffic whatsoever. That way, they're not able to provide that to outside sources. That's one of the things you will definitely want to keep in mind. Now, there is quite a few features with PIA. It does have secure VPN account, encrypted Wi-Fi. So if you're out browsing, um, holiday, or you're traveling or something of that nature, you can definitely go ahead and use that. It does do P2P support. It does have WireGuard and OpenVPN traffic built into it, so you can go ahead and set that up to tie into your OpenVPN network. There is the ability to have 10 devices simultaneously using the service before you do have to pay additionally to get more devices if you do need that. Now, it does block ads and trackers and malware, and there is also multiple VPN gateways that you can use. One of the really nice things also about PIA that I find personally myself with my needs is they don't throttle your traffic. Some VPN services do go ahead and throttle traffic, and what that means is after you reach a certain bandwidth limit, at that point in time, they actually slow down your bandwidth. That way, it's not able to flood, and they can make sure that they have all their customers have bandwidth. Now, depending on the VPN service, some of them throttle, some of them don't. There's a lot of documentation out there as to what does what. PIA, they do not do any kind of logging whatsoever. It's a really easy setup. There's Windows, there's Linux installers, there's even browser extensions that you can get. You install the extension, they'll show up here as one of your extensions, and boom, you're ready to go. Really super easy. Now, they have servers in over 46 countries at this point of this video. They're growing extremely quickly. They do have quite a bit of promotions going on now due to the COVID mess that's going on. Now, and a couple other things that I like too is they are US-based corporation, so if there is any issues, their customer service is amazing. I've had to deal with them a couple times on a few small issues that I've had to get dealt with. Instant activation, it does have the ability to work with DDWRT firmware. So if you put custom firmware on your routers, it does have that ability, and there is no traffic or request of logs. And they do have the ability to do gigabyte VPN speeds. Now, as of right now, they do have the ability, if you sign up today, to get 2 free months. There is also a 30-day trial. That way you can try it out, make sure it works for your needs, make sure everything works correctly before you go ahead and purchase it as a service to use. I've been using it for probably about a year now, or actually a year or more, and I've been having a lot of luck with it. It works great for my needs. I have it on my phone. I sometimes even use it on my main desktop. I definitely very much use it when I'm on my laptop traveling. That way I can make sure that I am browsing securely. I'll go ahead and I will run this video that they have on the website. That way you can get a better understanding of everything.
Isn't Wi-Fi great? You can browse the web anywhere, coffee shops, airports, libraries. But using public Wi-Fi means that people can spy on you, and it's as easy as, yep, they can access your data at the touch of a button. Seriously, even your internet service provider can see every website you ever go to. Private internet access has got your back. How? Well, it's kind of nerdy, but to put it simply, spies and companies that track you don't like us one bit. We create an encrypted tunnel so that nobody can spy on you. We also provide IP cloaking, which frees you from geographic restrictions when you're traveling. Register today and disappear online, the way it was supposed to be.
Obviously, that video is very layman's terms as to what it does, but basically there's a couple reasons why you would want to use it. Any VPN service, whether it's PA or whoever you go with, and of course that would be staying anonymous, staying secure, making sure your traffic isn't read, especially if you are traveling or in public. You definitely want to make sure that you're secure. That way no one can get your confidential information. And as the video stated also, if you are traveling or trying to make sure to get around geographic restrictions, like let's say Netflix, a couple of those places, depending on the geographic area that it says that you are in, will determine what type of content you were given. Some areas have better content than others, and things of that nature. Definitely something to keep in mind. I'll kind of show you a basic of it installed as the actual Windows client. So once you install it, comes up as here. Now, you have a couple options for actually the servers itself, depending on, of course, your location. You can definitely go through and try. Sometimes I'll use the recommended, which the recommended server that it will tie you to is going to be the closest server to your geographic location. In my case, my closest server is Seattle, since I'm only a few hours away from that. Now you can go ahead and, as you can see, if you go to United States, it's going to be basically the closest servers in geographic order. So Seattle, California, next biggest one is Denver, and then of course it also goes Las Vegas, and then of course you've got your West, which is just the general West server for the West location, and then of course you've got East, and then there's Central as well. They have obviously in Canada, and then of course Mexico has quite a bit of servers. Looks like they have a few. Germany's got 2. United Kingdom's got quite a few. And then as the countries go down, Australia's got 3 you can choose from. And there's actually a pretty extensive list as to servers that you can choose from. Now, once you go ahead and you connect up, it's going to tell you what your server is, what the geographic location is. So if I go back up to here, go to Seattle, now you can see on the map right here, it will show that I am on the Seattle server. And then once you actually connect up, it will show another IP address, which is the IP address for the VPN. That way it hides your external IP address that is given to you by your provider. And a couple other cool features that I do like, one of the main ones is called Kill Switch. So if you go in and configure the VPN service, in this case being PIA, if the internet is lost for the VPN service, then it will automatically cut off your internet until the service comes back. That way you are not browsing the internet without VPN and having the secure from that service. And then of course I have the kill switch, as you can see, turned on, and then it will block, by default setting, it will block domains used for ads and trackers. Obviously, I would recommend having some sort of ad block as well, because you can't rely on this fully. It does a pretty good job, but obviously I would put something in with it as a compare. And you can set up other DNS services if you want to run like your own internal DNS as well. Now, these connections that you have here for the encryption, obviously you can change and higher them. Of course, depending on whatever encryption you use, keep in mind will change your performance. Now, regarding performance when it comes to VPN, obviously whatever VPN service you use, you will lose some degradation in performance because you do have the bandwidth overhead of the VPN service. So if you're getting, let's say, 20 megs because you're traveling, you're probably going to lose 20-30% of that. Don't quote me to that as a hard number, but you will lose some performance. Do keep that in mind. Not exactly sure running the VPN service. I haven't done a lot of tests myself when I've been traveling, but depending on, of course, where you're at, what Wi-Fi you're connecting to, if you're on a VPN plus the Wi-Fi, you may run into some performance issues when it comes to streaming services like YouTube, things of that nature. Just something to keep in mind. I will leave a link in the description to the website. That way you can check it out more. If you guys have any further questions, definitely feel free to hit me up on my social media, and I will answer anything that I can to the best of my knowledge. And I hope you guys have a good day and stay safe. And definitely make sure to check out my social media on the links that I've now provided. Have a good one, guys.